to the compartmental model. What's compartmental model? We require them because now I have to model the spreading of a disease and I do not have the contact network. So how do we do that? You can just meanwhile ignore all these things here. Just consider these three circles here. It's a very logical explanation. You can apply it to the spreading of any disease. What we are going to do is divide our entire population into certain baskets. We have three baskets or three compartments here. One is a basket for the susceptible nodes. Susceptible nodes are the ones, initially everyone in a population is susceptible, that you have not yet caught a disease, but you can catch it once you come in contact with an infected person. This compartment holds the infected people in a population, which are just one or two in the beginning. Even in the case of corona, there was just one case detected in India. I think it was in Goa, and over a period of time, it spread very fast. So you have initially some infected nodes here. So they come in my infected compartment. And then we have the recovered nodes. I'll just add one more here. I call it the removed or the recovered chamber. This kind of modeling, we do it for those diseases in which an infected person, either he ultimately dies or he develops a lifetime immunity against the disease, like in the case of measles. So once you have this infection, it won't infect you again. So all those people who were infected and then they are recovered, they comes into this recovered chamber. Once a person comes in the recovered chamber, he can no longer get infected and he can no longer infect other individuals. Okay. Next, what we do is we see how people move across these chambers. Definitely, initially, every person in the network is in this susceptible chamber here. A few people here are in this infected chamber and no one is in the recovered chamber. What happens with time? With time, there are changes and people move across chambers. We model them with the help of differential equations. So let's see how this difference, how people move from this susceptible chamber. What happens to this susceptible chamber? So we know that the people in this susceptible chamber are always going to decrease or remain same in case there is no infection. So they can never increase. On what basis will these people go to the infected chamber? So generally the infections are passed along contacts, but we do not have any contacts here. What we do in this model, you assume that your network is fully connected. Anybody can infect anybody, or you assume it's a homogeneous mixture of population. People are just moving around randomly. So how many ways are there in which infection can happen? Assume that there are S number of people here and I number of people here in the infected chamber. So in how many ways can infection be passed on? So there is S into I number of ways if everyone is infected to every other. So we say that this rate in which the susceptible people change, first of all, it's going to be a negative because the people here, they are going to decrease. They cannot increase. It's going to be proportional to S into I because these many possible contacts are there between the people in these two chambers. And then when you equate it, you can add here a parameter alpha. So this alpha, this is called here the infection rate. It's the rate at which infection occurs in this network. Similarly, we can have an equation for di by dt. So all these people who come out of the susceptible chamber, they are going to come in the infected chamber. So I have a plus alpha Si here for the people who are coming to the infected chamber, and certain people are going to recover from here and go to this recovered chamber. So assuming that the recovery rate is gamma, I have a gamma I here. And if you write down the equation for the recovered, whatever comes out from the infected goes to recovered. So it's simply gamma I. With the help of these three equations, you can model this entire behavior. Now, let's ask this question. So assume that this disease is spreading. I want to know whether this disease will die away from this population or will it persist in the network. We know that people, they are moving, this is the rate at which people are getting infected. So definitely if this di by dt, it is greater than 0, what will happen? It means people are getting infected. If I say that di by dt, it's greater than 0, it means there are certain infections happening in this network. If it is less than 0, then the disease will ultimately die away. We just solve this equation quickly. So you get this here, both of this cancels out, and you get something like alpha into S by gamma is greater than 1. This equation is very important whenever you model the spreading of any disease, be it your previous infections, an Ebola like of a disease, or corona. So this number here, which we got, this formula here, this is called the reproductive number R0. Reproductive number plays a very important role in deciding whether your disease will spread in the network or will it die. If this reproductive number is greater than 1, it means that your disease will persist in the network. If this number is less than 1, it means that the disease will ultimately die. If you look at this, there is a very thin line between the spreading of a disease and between curbing it. So let's say your reproductive number is 1.0001. If you can push it slightly down and make it 9.999, somehow you can actually stop the spreading of a disease. And how can you push this number down? So if you look at, to push this number down, I need to reduce this. So to reduce this, you can actually reduce the value of S here. How you can reduce S? Reducing the number of susceptible people, and we do that with the help of quarantine. So when you quarantine certain people, they move in this chamber, so they cannot be infected further. Or what you can do, increase the decrease the value of alpha here, decrease the infection rate. How you can decrease the infection rate, the rate at which you catch infection? Like they say always, wash your hands, sanitize. So you can reduce the value of alpha. Another way is to increase the value of gamma here. Gamma is the recovery rate. How do you increase the recovery rate? This one is a bit difficult to change. To increase the recovery rate, that's where vaccination comes into picture. So once you have a vaccine for a disease, you can actually increase the recovery rate and help remove this disease from the population. This is one way in which you can model the spreading of a disease. But it has an assumption here. The assumption is your network is fully connected. Anybody can infect anyone else. But that's so not true. If I catch a disease, it's not that I can just walk around to anyone in this entire world and infect them. Doesn't make sense. So I'm only going to infect those people with whom I'm connected. So we can slightly lift this assumption even in the absence of a network. So since I was not having a contact network, we assumed that, okay, fine, anybody can infect anything. Now we'll try to slightly lift this assumption. Now I'll say, okay, fine, I do not have the network, but what I'll do, I'll get this number, which is average number of connections.